up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a pretty town rain. Can't let dick, straight down in my head, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I'm Shane, hanging out with Fox.
Yeah, what's up?
And of course, we've got Churchy in the void with no microphone because it has been seconded to Oliver.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Ollie is one of our long-time homies, long-time patrons, one of the OGs.
One of the many people we made pay us money before we would be friends with them.
Mm-hmm. And for as long as he continues to pay.
Yeah, exactly. And when you end, we'll still beg for your friendship and your RPG knowledge.
Yep. Ollie is a guest of the show before, earlier, season 4 maybe.
Okay.
We talked about RPGs. It was a lot of fun.
We bring you into the RPG space constantly because you are what we imagine is a DM not by choice. Like it's your
but
being.
by destiny.
Yeah. It's every fiber of your being. You were born to be a DM. How many RPGs, because this is your credentials for being a DM, how many different RPGs do you own PDFs or books for?
I would have no idea. I think
big.
PDFs wise, we were like chatting about that one time, and it's like about 100 gig or something. I think the folder on my computer that holds all the PDFs.
Wow.
Which, some of them are not, formatted particularly well, but it's a lot.
That's crazy because like there are just different types of people on planet Earth, and most of them would have 100 gig of like porn. And you chose to fill the hard drive.
You download it?
Well, I mean, I don't. I'm just saying, there's people out there. It's not me.
It's on the internet.
Yeah, but I mean,
free.
2004.
Exactly.
I'm not saying I do it. I'm just saying
We're not
people
sitting there
do it.
on the line wire waiting half an hour to see some breasts.
I'm glad we brought you here to join in the roast of Fox.
Well, no, I mean, he's the guy with the bug out bag, so I would have expected if anyone had an offline stash.
That's what I'm missing.
Yeah.
A USB full.
That's right, or a floppy disk or two.
Floppy disk. Not
You won't have a floppy
3
disk.
megabytes.
Yeah.
No floppies.
So I want to use your RPG knowledge. You've handled many hard cover books.
Yes. I quite enjoy handling hard cover books.
I have one here for you to handle. Now, I haven't opened this. What I want you to do is... Oh, I forgot to do the main part of this.
Is that why you, when I went to open it,
I said, don't open it? Yeah. What I want you to do, you've probably seen many books like this. Oh, yeah. Make sure you show it on the cam. This is the Wild Sea RPG by some random... I bought it because the art and the lore is cool, and I know nothing about it. What I want you to do is open this book, have a little flick through, and based on your existing RPG book holding knowledge, tell me how much you think that book is worth.
Oh, cash value.
Cash value.
AUD.
And I don't have my phone to Google what it's
Which
actually
way
worth.
do you unwind it? Clockwise or counterclockwise?
This is like it's got a very complicated system on it. It's obviously not designed for smooth brains.
So I backed this on a Kickstarter. Yeah.
And the DM screen wrapped around the book, right?
Oh, no, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. So here we. But the Kickstarter nature makes it really hard because I've seen some Kickstarters and some of them just get like obnoxiously expensive.
Yeah.
But like if I was buying this in a store, I'd probably expect to pay like, I don't know, 80, 90 bucks. But off a Kickstarter, I'd probably say maybe like 120 Australian.
Well, it's got a DM screen as well. Does that add value in your brain?
DM screens usually worth 30 bucks.
Yeah, that's 30 bucks.
Yeah,
probably.
Okay. And this, like the book, I mean, I haven't seen it before, but it looks like how many pages is a normal RPG? That looks like a 200 to 300 page book.
355.
Roughly, give or take. Yeah.
I'd say 367 pages.
Give or take, yeah.
Yeah, you don't generally pay per page.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, no. So how much did you pay for it? Am I
actually-
trying to validate this for you?
Well, I kind of wanted you to validate it because I couldn't remember how much I paid. I still don't know. But it looks like it retails at about $110 with the DM screen.
So based on how many hours of it you've played,
I've got maximum value.
How much return on your investment have you got?
Well, so there's one way to look at it. On the one hand, I've never touched it except to bring it here. On the other hand, because I've never played it, its quality is near mint, and thus it's gooder.
And you've just had me open it
It's that's the drive away devalue right there. You've driven it out of the showroom, so it's lost.
and cracked the spine.
And
I'll be honest, this looks really nice. Yeah, I'm very happy with
gold trim.
gold trim. Okay, I'm happy with this. Now, when can we play this? Because we did a session
We've
0.
tried, and it doesn't work.
What do you mean it doesn't work? I just don't think we liked it. That's not a fair assessment. It works fine.
I think we struggled with the like first hurdle that you always seem to have with playing an RPG, which is like getting those first 1 or 2 sessions off the ground. You
Yeah.
know, where like you build a little bit of a story, you want kind of all your players there to begin with. You don't want just like a couple to show up for the first session or something, because
Yeah.
you're building that initial story. And I guess like
momentum.
yeah, exactly. You need that, and we fell over at that. We all made characters, and we kind of did a session 0, and then we're like, this will be great, and then it all fell apart because I don't know,
scheduling,
someone yeah,
Like you can never schedule. Everyone's got something on, and it's like, where do you say that? Come on, man, cancel that. You've got RPG on. You can't. Like, everyone has their things, their commitments, and what they need to do. And and when at work, life, family, all that sort of stuff gets in the mix, and when you got 4, 5, 6 people trying to get together, you can't always make it work, which is a shame. But
Is that that's got to be the most difficult thing about running RPGs?
yes, some people just aren't committed. They'll go to funerals and things like that. And,
that's
like,
garbage.
who goes to them?
Yeah.
So there's RPGs to play.
Yeah, that's it. Could play it really. They could play it at the funeral. Like if they're actually committed.
Yeah.
Through Discord chat or whatever. Yeah. Have the headphones in.
Slash
earbuds.
rolls, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I know. I agree with you. I was like, I had a few funerals like lately, and I was like, wait, was that me? Did that do that at one stage? This is a dig, but no, probably it was. Yeah. Okay. So we're playing this again. Is that where we landed? I think the lore of this game is dope because but it's quite. Is it quite different to the other? I remember giving you, I think, the PDF that I got in the Kickstarter. I mean, no, you bought it yourself legitimately or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you read through and you're like, yeah, this is. We'll just have to learn on the fly.
Yeah, because it was quite different. I mean, there've been like 2, I think, that we looked at that we did.
Yeah.
We started the Root RPG one as well, which we played a few sessions of.
Yeah.
That one was like, from memory, a port of a different system that they'd like adapted to be Root.
Yeah.
This
Common
one,
thing, right? Like it's like, okay, you see an RPG and you go, oh, that's that system. That's that system.
yeah. Like
It's like
you've
the
got
engine of a game.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, this looks exactly like this other game, except it's
Reskinned.
Star Wars. When we played the
yeah.
Star Wars one originally, it's like a port of Dungeons and Dragons 3.5.
Sure.
That Star Wars RPG.
And I think the Root one was a port of the Apocalypse system or something.
Yeah, powered
like
by
that?
the Apocalypse.
Powered by the
Apocalypse,
Yeah.
Yeah. But that one was like one that was like, oh, this is a kind of different system that I haven't really done much of before or seen before. So yeah, it kind of looked quite cool, but I don't really remember why it didn't get off the ground. Probably one of the players, I don't know.
It could have been any.
Probably Churchy.
Yeah, there's
I think.
it's
one
probably Churchy.
flaky player.
Oh, you were in it.
Yeah. So Churchy bailed, and then we were like,
It was
well,
just a bad time.
Yeah.
It was just a bad time.
Me
But
and Burnsy were in there.
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm in. You guys can play my book. The lore for those listening that were like, what's the Wild Sea anyways? Is like you play as these weird creatures because it's set hundreds of years in the future, thousands maybe, I don't know. And like the world
read
is
the book.
so. I've read the book. Look at it. I just cracked the spine. Then what do you want from me?
I'm not told about you.
Secondhand. It's been driven in. And like the world is so overgrown and lush that the world that we live in now has like just been pushed to the absolute depths. It kind of uses a forest, like the one on our TV here, as a parable for a sea.
Yeah.
So like
a wild sea.
Like a wild sea.
yeah,
almost.
Wildest of seas.
Yeah, exactly. That's good, guys.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, we
I love
just
this
came up with it,
organic,
man.
just off
Yeah.
off the domes.
Game jamming it.
Yeah, I love this. They're so smart and wise.
Between this and Root, it's like, it seems like you have a bit of a type,
Well,
That is an anthropomorphic type.
Yeah, big time. What I liked about these creatures is that they're more humanoid. There's an element when you're playing Root that you feel like you're a little bit of a furry. You're a little bit like I'm
you've got
playing.
the butt plug tail in.
Yeah, you kind of
Yeah.
have to. You got to put these ears on.
You just had just on hand.
Well, I'm an
They came with the
anthropomorphic.
book, right?
Yeah, exactly. This is the Kickstarter exclusive.
Now they've been warned. They've also lost their money.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
mate.
just a bearer of bad news tonight.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I won't sell them because
No, leave them there for later, please.
Yeah, I will. I have the tail under here and everything. Anyway, the world's so overgrown, and you ride these ships, pirate ships on the sea, but instead of the sea, it's the forest.
The canopy of the forest.
And the pirate ships run on these big, like, chainsaw type things, and they're cutting their way through the tops of the sea, but it regrows so quick that it has no impact because they wanted to cover themselves.
It was such a cool, cool universe that when you started explaining it, hey, let's play this. Yeah, there were so many elements that sounded awesome. Like, I remember one of the races you can play is just like a colony of spiders.
Exactly. Yeah. Let me read now. I'm just kidding. I can't unwind the thing again. Yeah,
Or
exactly.
like a mushroom person or something like that.
Yeah.
There's just so many, like, very, very, very cool. Very different. So unique in a way. Like,
That's what drew it to me. I was like, I mean, I don't really know RPGs, but I feel like that's such a unique theme.
Yeah.
The art is fantastic. And it started as like 80 pages, and they kept delaying this project. And I was like, oh man, I'm never going to get it. Took like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it turned into 354 pages. And I was like, well, that's just value because I already spent my money.
Can I ask you a question? So I'm pretty new to Kickstarter. You've done a few, right?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
A delay like that, like 2 years, how long between updates was it? Was there times when it was like real quiet and everyone's like, this is a scam, give me my money back? Or was it like very consistent?
So with most of the projects I back are kind of, I guess, mainstream projects in that I back them when they've got like a few 100,000 behind them.
Oh, so
the
they're already
creator's
well and
already
truly
done
funded.
a few things
Yeah,
in the similar vein. Like the creator that made, like, this was made by a team of people. One of the creators, the main guy driving it, has made like comic books, and he has a bunch of projects behind him. And so when it goes like, they're really good about the updates. So it's like one update a month for the first year. And then maybe there's like a big gap, especially over COVID. That was the main issue with this one.
Yeah.
It was like actually shipping it and whatever.
Yeah.
And printing and manufacturing. But like they'll send an update and be like, hey, it's been 3 months, but here's the new PDF of the rule book. And you can see it's like an extra 100 pages. And you're like, that makes sense. You added the characters that you said you added and whatnot.
They're still working.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm sure like for smaller projects, maybe there's that hesitation, especially when like especially for STLs and stuff where you can see a bunch of renders and then they're like, then you hear nothing for 3 months and they do an update and it's just another render and you're like, I don't know, where is the STLs? Like, give us a test print.
Yeah.
Show us something. It's not just a render. There's a little bit of that. But yeah, no, not for this thing. Not for this bad boy.
Nice.
But as a like novice on Kickstarter, like having only just done that, backing my first one recently, which was just for STLs.
Oh, there you go.
No, it went quite well because like there's these stretch goals and like they've obviously done that thing where they have done the STLs.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's just a marketing thing going through Kickstarter. But then the stretch goals are, we're going to create new STLs.
Yeah.
So they will come over time. That was fine. But like, I feel like with a hardcover book or something, it is quite hard because like if they're including stretch goals of like things that they want to put in the book, at what point do you print the book?
Totally.
And be like, all right, we're going to put all this in there.
Yeah.
Because, although that's like 344 pages or whatever, that's kind of pretty, 300, pretty standard for a lot of RPG rulebooks. Like it's not like a super, super chunky one. It's on the like larger side, but it's not like obscenely large. So like if I got one that was half that size and they were like, oh, here's some PDFs, I'd probably kind of be like, for $120.
Yeah. And this one was good. I actually can't remember what I spent. I'd love to find out, but
don't adjust it for inflation.
Don't adjust it for inflation?
You don't want to know.
No, okay. Let's find out. No. You're absolutely right because that was the biggest problem with these guys. They were like, we've decided to add this. And I would just be like, I was happy with like the 80-page book you gave me originally that had like the archetypes and the general idea. And, the thing about RPGs, I feel like I don't know how much extra rules actually impact the game because
So specific situations that those rules might come in.
I feel like if you add characters and archetypes, sure, that's good, and scenarios, but oftentimes you're going to branch out and make your own scenarios.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the opposite of like when you've got like a game like I think like Total War I'm really into on the computer, right? And then they have DLCs that like it's a new faction.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's so expensive, but I kind of want that faction.
Yeah.
With an RPG, you have the power to be like, all right, we've got the core rules.
Yeah.
We want to have this.
Yeah.
Well, let's just adapt to what we currently have in homebrew.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't need to have all these extra, DLC type things to run an RPG. You just need to have a little bit of creativity. And the main thing that you're getting out of the book is the core rules system. But as we said before, that's often adapted from something else. So like you could have in theory just done it with the original rule system that you have. But it's like you're typically, I guess, paying for like that setting.
Yeah.
Right. Like I buy an RPG because I pick it up and I'm like, this is a really cool setting.
Yeah.
Like I have a Dragon Age RPG that I have never played. But it was like a one that I picked up because I was like, oh man, I love Dragon Age.
Yeah.
How cool would it be? How cool would it be to have a Dragon Age RPG? And it was like kind of like from memory, it's like a reskin of Dungeons and Dragons, as a lot of them are.
Yeah.
But I was like, it then adapts those the mechanisms from D&D to apply to how magic works in Dragon Age and things like that. And then I was like, that's the only book you really need to run it.
So I suppose that's a good point, is that in my mind, I was like, give me the 80-page book because that's the skeleton. Like, we'll put the meat on it. But, when you're getting into a setting, the more meat that setting has, the more immersive, I guess, it is. If they've told you, here's a scenario, here's another scenario, here's what one of the cities looks like, here's what some of the towns look like, here are some of the people and who occupy the town.
Yeah.
Like, that's all depth that just adds to that setting.
And I think that sort of stuff adds to like ease of world building as well.
Yeah.
Like you get a general idea of what the common folk are like in that universe.
Yeah.
So you can then go and create any NPCs that you want to create on top of that or other towns and stuff like that.
Or languages. So this is obviously done its own languages.
What language do the spiders speak?
English.
Impress others. That's my language. I didn't say I was successful.
Okay, yeah, fail.
The languages here, I don't know which one's the...
That's right.
Yeah. I think the Ectus might be the spider people, in which case they speak Saprek. But there's also Chthonic, Gwadim, Nock, Brass Tongue, Rakaspit, Liar Bite, Old Hand, Signaling. Rory was doing that before. And Hyven, which is like high-fiving, but quicker. And there's aspects and just really cool art.
It is cool.
This guy's having a rough time.
What do you mean?
And what you said there is actually like a big thing as like a sales point in RPGs, right? Like
Yeah.
the RPGs that I more often buy are the ones that I pick up and I have a quick flick through the rule book and I go, oh man, this is so pretty. This book,
Yeah.
I don't really care what the rules are like. I'll figure that out later because you have to really, crunch the rules to figure out if you actually like the rules or not.
Yeah.
But man, the artwork is cool.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah.
I just saw one of those big sections at the end that I didn't know was in there was like factions and territories, which is something that they've added at the end. So yeah, very cool. And yeah, if I flick through this book, I mean, obviously it's a lot of nature-inspired creatures and...
What is that?
That's a death guard, I assume. There's some...
We don't need that.
There's some very cool art. Don't know if that's easy to see, but yeah, that's a weird thing that exists in this universe.
We're getting flagged for copyright.
It's less than
You shared it for
10%.
too long.
I can share it for 35 pages. Yeah,
36.7.
and the DM screen has a little fox on it, which I won't share for copyright reasons.
Yeah.
You guys have terrified me now.
What are your thoughts as an experienced DM on DM screens? Like, obviously that one's got a lot of information on the inside for a DM.
Yeah.
When would you draw the line? Like, would you say every system needs its own screen, or would you just
You can
make your own?
you can make your own or something.
Print up everything you want.
If you're doing like in-person RPGs, the DM screen is something that you want to have, but you can use a DM screen from some other system and just put your,
Yep.
use some little clips and clip your notes in there. But
They're effectively widgets, right?
yeah, I mean, really the main purpose of the DM screen, at least for me, is, if you have a little peek behind the curtain, is it allows you to kind of just fudge some stuff.
Okay.
The DM screen's there because yes, I've got all my notes and things like that, but there are times as a DM where you roll some dice and you're like, cool, that player's dead.
Yeah.
And then you're like, that can be cool,
Yeah.
but do you want that to happen?
Yeah,
You're
no.
not quite dead, but pretty close.
Yeah, like, oh, you're on 1 HP. Yeah. I know. What's the chances that they rolled a 7, not an 8?
Yeah.
You know, like.
You wouldn't believe it, but I'm looking at it right here.
Yeah.
You can look.
You can't look. Can I see it? No.
Because
like
you know that and
Trudging
that
his cat.
just having that little ability that's kind of one of the purposes of the DM screen,
Yep.
right? As it blocks off all of your stuff and your notes and that kind of thing. But yeah, like most RPGs need a quick reference guide.
Yep.
But you know, if you're buying an RPG, I don't recall the last time I bought a DM screen because
Okay.
they're normally like $40 or something on top.
Yeah. On top of your $80 book or 100 and
Yeah.
whatever you
It was.
pay.
I just checked. $88
Oh, yeah.
Australian, delivered with the damn screen.
Oh, nice.
One of those rare instances where I spent less on the Kickstarter than what it's actually worth.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's a big problem that I was going to say when we were talking about Kickstarters earlier is that it's lost its value.
Yep.
You know, you're kind of just backing to be the first person to get it if there's a supply shortage, but often you're not really saving money. And they say, oh, this is what we plan to drop it at retail for, and we're giving it to you for this. But then it gets to the store, and the store goes, well, of course I'm going to take that. That's too
10%
much.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like they have quite obscene shipping
Oh, yeah, for
to
sure.
Australia.
Yeah.
You know, because like apparently they like courier it to you.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, we're going to pay somebody to literally bring it to your house. That's
Yeah.
why we charge you this much.
That's
Yeah.
his sole job is to deliver that book to
Yeah.
you.
In fact,
So
he
you
didn't
gotta
have
pay
a
him
job
like a
previously.
lifetime wage.
Yeah, his annual salary. Yeah.
What's he on? I don't know, at least 80 grand a year plus super.
Oh, truth. Plus super. Do I have to pay for his annual leave and sick leave and
Of course.
stuff? Yeah, okay.
What do you expected?
That's why Kickstarters are so expensive.
Yep.
So I want to flip it because we're talking about RPGs and whatnot, but I want to Missy Elliott this bitch. How you've played 40K for a long time?
Yes.
How long?
24 years.
I want to know because there seems to be a consensus with people that we talk to and interact with. Yeah, doesn't it feel like when
I
you
feel
talk
like there's
about
going to be a spicy
40K
take.
and a consensus when?
Yeah. Doesn't it feel like when you talk about 40K and Games Workshop, it has the same feeling as when you share a political opinion?
So the current prime minister or president
Is the emperor whom protects or does not, depending on your inclination. We accept all denominations of emperor worship.
Yeah.
The consensus among a lot of people is that if you play Warhammer for long enough, you learn to hate it. How do you keep going? What's your worldview?
Well,
left.
I
or
think
right?
I've been playing Warhammer long enough to like have learned to hate it a long time ago, and
Sure.
then like you know become
You're
ambivalent about the whole thing. You know,
You were born in the darkness.
Yeah.
No, it's
It's your
like
ally
you know,
now.
like my favorite edition. Probably my favorite edition so far was 9th.
Yeah.
and like, but from a rules perspective and things like that, but also like GW as a company is so much more functional now than like a period of time that I went through when I was
Sure.
getting into it. Like when I
crazy
first
to me.
started, it was awesome. Like it was this awesome kind of like company where it was like those like everyone like good old days that everyone talked about. That, you
Yeah.
know, there was this awesome.
Before it was like publicly traded? Or
There was just this like you know like you go into a store and there was like 3 guys working in the store.
Yeah.
you know,
And they all
like,
loved it.
and they were like they'll talk to you about stuff and you know there was like a worldwide campaigns going on and things like that. And then like a little bit after I got into it, it kind of felt like Games Workshop went through this phase where like everyone was like it's gone to shit. Like
Is that, are you talking era wise? Is this sort of like end of the old world kind of?
no, well, this is well before that. So
Oh,
this is
okay.
like
Oh, wow.
1999, 2000, like is when I kind of first got into it.
Oh, sure.
And then the like early to mid 2000s, it was like, all right. But then there was just like this period where like I felt like nothing really happened for ages and like almost like the opposite of now, you know, like
Yeah.
there wasn't this
Fair
like
to say.
all these releases and things like that. And like the classic example was like one of the armies that I played was Dark Eldar. And we went 2.5 editions without a codex.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
You
crazy.
know, it
That
wasn't
wouldn't
like
happen now.
you know, it wasn't like every edition there has to be a new codex. And I remember thinking like, oh, when are they going to redo, you know, Dark Eldar? And that was like, oh, we're doing the second Space Marine codex of this edition.
Sure.
And you were like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when's Dark Eldar? They're like, oh, maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe maybe
Wow.
next decade.
Yeah, and that kind of stuff, and like,
that.
Yeah,
and
isn't
so
that so
like
wild?
they've become they've become a lot more of a professional. I don't know if that's the right word, but a functional professional business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that has advantages and it has, disadvantages.
Yeah.
Certainly now I get what people say, and that it feels like they're very commercially driven and things like that, but it also keeps them honest in a sense of like they're always putting out product and there's always new things coming
Every week.
and there's always this new stuff coming. But it does feel like it's lost some of that like cool little indie game type vibe thing, and like even to the level of like I get that that's just how bricks and mortar stores are now and things.
Right, though, like,
But like you go into a store, I go into my local, Warhammer store now, and it's not packed full of people.
Yeah.
Right. When I was a kid, it was in the big Westfield. And there was 8 or 9 other kids there on the weekend. And then there were some older guys, and, the older guys played their own games and things like that because they didn't really want to play with a, 9-year-old, which is fair enough.
Because if you look back, you're like, I would hate that.
But there was always like some staff. There was always some staff member. There was always some staff member who would like be happy to walk you and somebody through a game. And do that. And so I guess I'm nostalgic for that. Yeah. But I do like the way and the like quality of their stuff and all that is just so much better now than it was back then.
And you probably got that perspective now too, where everyone's like, "Oh, another Primaris Lieutenant," and you're just like, "It's another release." I would have killed to have a release every single week when I was playing back then, or a new codex or rules update every 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, but it's just different. I don't like to talk about one time being better or worse than another. They're just all different, and they all have their own, advantages and disadvantages and things like that. But like just the sheer volume of stuff that they pump out now is pretty remarkable. Yeah. And the quality of the stuff that they pump out is pretty remarkable. That being said, I'm not doing as much of it anywhere, like as much 40K stuff now as I was before. Yeah. And I'm looking at other systems and things like that. But yeah, I don't necessarily dislike it. I had a bit of a, time at the start of 10th where I was like, oh, it's another edition. Do I want to do all this, relearn it all again and that kind of thing? But
yeah. Well, the good thing about 10th is it's not 7th to 8th kind of changes. It's kind of like everything good about 9th brought in, and then we'll add back to it.
Thinned a little bit, and then
it feels like stratagems and all the numbers change. Kroot's still not an army. They took Harlequins away. Harlequins aren't an army anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Nah. Oh, maybe.
Are they in OPR?
Yeah,
they are. Yeah.
Space
Elven
Jesters.
Jesters.
Yeah.
Jesters, yeah.
So they are. My bad. They are an army.
Yeah.
And Kroot are too. Yeah. It's called Jackals. You have an amazing jackal dance. Yeah, interesting. I also wanted to know, because you've been in 40K so long, someone asked this to me, and I could only think of one thing, but I was like, anyways, I could prelude a question for half an hour. What is your favorite all-time, first thing that comes to your head when I say this, favorite 40K moment for you playing?
Well, I think in 40K, generally, it would be when there was the Eye of Terror campaign.
Sure.
So that was like a massive worldwide campaign that they did. I don't know exactly when, maybe 2000 or something like that, 2001. I was pretty young. Yeah. But like real. Playing in a game and being like, having this kind of realization of, wow, this game, the result of this game impacts what's happening.
That's cool.
And then that
exactly.
Yeah. But what that did was that then opened my eyes to you can run other games. We could run our own campaigns and things like that, which my mates and I started doing. But it was kind of flicked this switch in my brain of like, you could make some system whereby, it's not just a single battle,
Yeah. Wouldn't that be great?
Imagine if everyone's battle affected the outcome.
But globally, like
a worldwide,
worldwide, 5 past 6. Someone said that, right?
I think Churchy's done.
I think you're.
Rory.
How many times? I was going to say you're contractually obligated to do it 5 or 6 times per episode. Say 5 past 6.
What, guys?
5.
5
5 past 6.
Would be great for past 6.
Oh, yeah.
5.6. Yeah.
Actually, contractually, we're only obligated to say it 3 times. We do it once each for fun, and the other 6
warm
ones are
up.
commission.
Okay.
Yeah. That should be our intro. Hi, we're 5 parsecs from home. I'm Shane. This is Fox. Hi, good day, mate.
Speaking of 5.6 from home, how have you found commandeering our campaign?
Literally commandeering and
for the better.
Yeah,
Like
for the
you
better.
can keep it.
I mean, it's been a bit of work, especially at the start. I don't know. It's kind of like I'm not into cars, but I feel like it's probably what it's like if you get like this rusted out old crappy car.
You're bogging up the chassis.
Yeah. You know, and you're
Hang
like,
Just quickly.
the framework.
Every bowl is just rust.
The framework of
built
this
that
car is nice, you know, and I've always wanted a Camaro.
Yeah.
This one's
But I'm going to have to
this
rebuild the
15
whole
years.
thing.
This one's really shitty. This one's particularly shitty.
It just makes me laugh so much. I was so proud of that.
And we still are.
Yeah, we're proud of what he's done. Yeah.
But no. I mean,
It's good seeing the Camaro run on the road.
The main work was obviously like to start off with creating that like Excel spreadsheet that let me generate all the missions, right? Because the thing I felt like it felt like from the outside that really was the struggle for you guys running it the first time wasn't running the campaign, but just like we have to roll up 20 missions a month,
a while.
and like we have to sit here and be like, all right, now let's go to chart 2 and reference chart 3, and how many guys was it that we, you know, and so like just creating a spreadsheet that did all of that probably took me, I don't know, 10 hours or something like that.
That's what it took me to roll up 20 missions.
Yeah,
So-
copy and pasting all those
And then
charts
writing all the fluff.
into Excel. And then it was like, all right, now that we've got that, that kind of takes the bulk of the like background work out of it. It's still like, you know, I don't know, a couple of nights a month of fluffing up the missions and things like that. But, you know, I've had a lot of experience with fluffing, so...
We won't elaborate. It's better without context.
We'll just leave that.
But yeah, so no, I think it's been really good. It's just, you know, as with anything like running an RPG, like running any campaign, it's always hard to kind of keep up the interaction or the level of engagement, I guess, you know, with people. And it's striking that balance between like it just being something that we're kind of doing for fun and like, you know, we're not making any money out of it. It's not a business or anything like that. How much time do we want to actually be dedicating to doing stuff, but also trying to keep people engaged and have it be fresh for, you know, what is at its core a pretty simple tabletop game.
Big time.
It can be easy to have that be like, oh, I've done 3 or 4 missions. I kind of, I'm done with that. Done with that now.
There's a point in Parsecs too that you play I reckon it's sort of that 8 to 10 games that you get in and you find that now that you're toughness 5 and combat skill +2 or +3, you're just like, but the difficulty of is there mitigation for that now in like the Trailblazers or?
Sort of. There's some progressive difficulty things, but it's really just like how you do it. But you know, running the campaign has given us the ability to toggle that difficulty a little bit. You know, like we've been making it so that there are different levels of difficulty missions available where I've just put some little toggles in the spreadsheet that, you know, maybe they add in an extra enemy, maybe there's like some extra, you know, condition or something like that that gets added on for harder missions that allows you to be like, do I want to challenge myself?
Yeah.
You know, like, do I want to take on a tougher mission, or am I new to the game and I just want to? I just want to do a layup, or am I?
But you're really, really shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but you know, it gives us that ability to have different difficulties and things like that.
Yeah,
you know,
cool.
because that's probably the other thing that it does is it also gives that kind of story, which is really important for Parsecs. You know, and I think if you run a campaign for just your own solo campaign, if you're really into that, and I feel like there's some of the guys that we see and like they do these awesome write-ups that are have heaps of like thematic story stuff in it, and I'm like, they'd be fine, you know, like they'd be able to run their own Parsecs solo campaign and probably have a hoot, right? But there are some people where it's like, maybe you're more of a like tabletop person. You don't have a big background in RPGs, and it's hard to like have this story that you're telling.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, guess that it's nice to be able to give people who maybe that's not their forte or not something that they want to invest a lot of time in, a story that can then motivate them to keep playing.
What I love about it is I fall into the third category of people that would love to make a really cool story and would love to have all this depth to it, but don't have time. Yeah. I have time to go, I like that mission, I can play that mission.
Yeah.
And then have the fluff written, and now I'm there. Now I understand. I've helped the guild fight off these people.
Could you find 2 minutes to put in your
It's longer
completion
than that.
form?
It's longer than that. I got to click the link and I got to go, ooh.
I just forgot.
Yeah. That's better than me. I'm constantly aware of it, but never do it. Yeah, I can find it. I'll schedule it in. For last month, or could we wipe that one?
Apparently, it's getting counted this month.
Oh, no.
You submitted after the deadline.
Oh, no, I haven't submitted. You can't say I have submitted after the deadline. I haven't submitted yet. Yes, yeah, I'll find. I'll get right on that.
I feel like with Parsecs, like I fall into category 2, right, where it's like tabletop game.
Yeah.
And like I quite easily forget that there is a story to be told. And like that there's a reason why my crew of these, you know, individual named characters, they're not just 5 guys of whatever.
Although delicious burgers, it's not 5 guys.
No. Anyway, thank you.
You're welcome. Here all night.
Unfortunately, they're there for a reason, right? They're there to clear something out or find something or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's so easy just to be like, this is the mission, this is the rules. You know, like I need to sort of step back and go, hang on, there's a story. Like I need to get it around that story.
Yeah.
And without that, it's not that much of a game.
No,
it's not.
That's
100%.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I enjoyed doing write-ups back earlier on when we do our episodes.
Yeah.
And you know, telling the story like that, but at the time of playing it, I'm just not really like thinking about it. So that's something I know I need to like focus more on and take more enjoyment out of.
You call me a moron?
Excuse?
They say focus moron.
I mean, yes.
But I guess for me, it's like it's also been good as like it's kind of scratching that DM itch.
Yeah.
You know, right? It's like I can be telling this little bit of a story.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that gives me something to think about. Because that's why I've always been like super into RPGs and that kind of thing. Because like for whatever reason, just in my head, when I've got like free time and I'm not thinking about something else, I have these like stories churning.
Yeah.
You know, right? Like I'm thinking about, it'd be really cool to do this in a campaign or that kind of thing. And it's just an outlet for that, which has been good. Particularly because like, I mean, it's just been hard to like do RPGs.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're now reaching that age where like people have kids, people have other responsibilities and things, and it just makes it harder to have like a session every fortnight or a session every week or something like that for RPGs because there's just so much life going on that commitment is really hard. And that's for me, you know, been a big difference as not doing that is, you know, for me, something I've never really done because I've always done RPGs.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit of scratching that itch and being able to tell a story.
Nice.
Something about RPGs too is that the time slot, you need like a bit of time. Yeah. I find that like there's a lot of nights in the week where I've got an hour, but that's not enough for like to really get into
like
a
2.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like 2 to get a bit, because like it's always, you kind of want to, with an RPG, you want to sort of finish at somewhere where you can finish, right? You can't finish in the middle of a fight, or something like that.
With a lot of RPGs, you know, most of them probably, you know, a typical fight probably takes about an hour or something. I guess there are some more streamlined systems where it's not, you know, but maybe it's half an hour, maybe it's an hour, depending on, you know, how much shit you talk while you're doing it. You know,
that's why ours takes so long.
Yeah.
Chickens.
But, you know, so if you want like a little bit of story development and a little bit of action in every session, then you want a couple of hours at least. And plus, you know, there's always that typical thing of like, all right, we're going to start at 7:30 and then we all get on, we talk shit about our day. And
45.
Waiting for
hang on,
Ollie,
I'm going to go get a beer or whatever. And then it's 8 o'clock and then, you know, someone's got a hard out at 8:30 because they've got to go feed their kid or something.
Yeah. Hey, it's 10:30 or whenever she wakes up. She doesn't feed. Oh no, that's a lie. She did last night at 10:30 specifically. But anyways, Yeah, I feel that. And for those listening at home, Ollie has his own RPG that he's created. And
Sort of.
half,
Sort of.
and we're playing it.
Yeah.
So we
It's-
hope to bring you an episode soon that summarizes our chicken-related shenanigans.
Yeah. It's kind of like alive and hooked up to life support.
Yeah.
But we're
We're
playing
there.
with it.
We're in the room. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Your analogy was not kosher, not haram. Yeah. Yeah. Facts.
But yeah, I guess that kind of just like came from, wanting a system to just do a kind of game that I wanted to run.
Yeah.
You know?
You were just
It
like,
was
I've
like-
played this many RPGs.
Yeah.
Trying to build the world that I want someone to have built already for me
Yeah.
that doesn't exist. I like it. I too am a creator of things. So I can understand.
Of a channel for people that create things on the Discord.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, I think Shane created the channel for game
Well, yeah,
development.
yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't actually.
I wouldn't probably
on
trust you to
request
create it.
by Vumu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
actually,
actually,
he's like, hey, how about this?
you're like, okay. Arm twisted. Boom. Yeah. All right. Maybe I don't create anything. But anyways, you do. So
Well,
that's cool.
no, you paid some people to make some art. No?
Yeah. I did. Yeah.
So
I
that's
did
your creating
actually.
content.
I create
And then
money
you post
and
that
give
in
it
a
to
channel that
people.
you didn't create. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I'm not needed here. But you guys are. Thank
Yeah.
you. Which is my camera? Which is the Fox cam? That one?
That's the everyone cam. Yeah. And then
I call it the Fox cam because I'm actually in it. So
Yeah.
thank you to all of you. This is Ollie. And this is Shane.
Hi.
And we have been Hobby Homies with
Yes, we
Ollie the
have.
guest. Just talking whatever. RPGs.
More beers and banter, sort of.
Yeah.
Very, very
Two beers,
and
two banter.
Two beers, two banter. It's got a beers and banter vibe. There's a few beers and some Tabasco sauce. And what's this for, Ollie?
Pizza.
You'll find out later.
To spice up the episode. All right.
All right, then.
All right then. He came up with the joke. I've just used it 3 times since then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive shout out to our patrons. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this. We have a where am I going with this?
New
dude?
patron. We have a new patron.
We
Yes.
do.
Yes.
You knew what you were saying,
Yeah,
but
I'm like,
this
This doesn't sound
And your
right.
new
Yeah.
patron's name is?
Valerie, also known as Psyduck.
Psyduck.
So we have
Great
a
name.
Psyduck as a patron. That's pretty cool.
Which is really cool because that's one of my son's favorite Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
How
it's
many
in
does he know?
You know, Psyduck, he knows a lot, dude.
Really?
Yeah, kids
Yeah.
are good like that.
Yeah. Psyduck, Charmander, Squirtle, Cubone, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Eevee. There's
Most
another-
importantly, Psyduck.
But Psyduck was
Where
the
would
first
he? Yeah.
one.
So where would he like put Psyduck? Is it like number 1, or is it like it's like his top 5?
Psyduck was number 1 because we watched the Pikachu movie and that's my wife's favorite Pokemon, Psyduck.
Oh yeah.
Because she doesn't know Pokemon, but
Yeah.
she just loved the idea when she watched Detective Pikachu
Yeah.
that there was this,
Duck with a headache.
with a headache
Yeah.
that could just explode at any minute. And I'm like, I've got a headache and could explode any minute. Where's my love?
She's like, I don't care. About
I
it.
don't care. I know. I'm not a duck, all right? I'm not a confused duck.
Welcome, Valerie. Also
Oh, yeah,
known as-
sorry. Yeah,
welcome- welcome,
We have a
Psyduck.
reason.
Yeah, welcome, Psyduck. Yeah.
Thanks for joining our Patreon.
Yeah.
And yeah, to our others, you get early access to videos like this and other things we do on both our channels, and our unending gratitude. Thank you very much.
Keep trying.
Hey, you're on the wrong cam, dude. Give me a-
Please get off.
So massive shout out to our patrons. As always, we have the goats: Burnsy, Fallen Dinosaur, Gridlock, Axe, Anax, MJ, Test Dummy, and Black Apollo.
We got the OGs, Brandon W, Moose, Elko, Churchy, Rad, this guy here, Ollie, Hawkers, Penny, Aggro, Don Hua Don, Pure Blind, Primal Nerds, Jackson V, and Big Roach.
You could have gone. That.
You kind of did. You mimed it.
I heard it.
Yeah, I heard it. Thank you. And come over to Shane's house. Come over to the studio.
Hey, don't invite everyone.
Just everyone, get in here. Get in here.
Maybe patrons
Sit in this chair. Yeah.
You have to pay at least $10 a month to be allowed in.
for 36 months minimum.
Minimum. And then you could just come. We'll give you keys.
Whoa.
We'll give you keys. We could do that, right?
If only I knew, and if only I knew I could get into the Discord without paying, I would have never
You can
signed up.
get into the Discord without
Paying. In fact, you could do most things without paying, include
Yeah.
joining our 5 Parsecs from Home campaign.
Yeah.
Links in our Discord, links to the Discord on thehobbyhomies.com, links to thehobbyhomies.com in the Google, links to Google. in your AOL fucking big bar.
You've confused everyone.
Yeah, that's my job.
That'll do, Pink.
Thanks, guys. Toodles. Over.
Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but the opinion turn red. Can't let that in my head, war gaming.